If you like today's program, please visit elevatorradioshow.com for a complete list of all the shows we produced, along with the show notes for today's program. And as always, share them with your friends. Got a good show for you today. Stay tuned. Here it comes.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds, when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway? Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Elevator Radio Show podcast. It is great to have you here and wherever you are listening to the program, whether it be in your home, in your car, as you're exercising, wherever. It is great to have you part of our family, our industry family, and we have so many of you out there who send some great comments in and share your experiences and just support the heck out of me, which I greatly appreciate, especially on mornings like this morning where I was exhausted. Alarm went off and I'm like, oh boy, it's just been a busy week with a whole bunch of stuff going on. But no different than any of you out there and what you are all dealing with. It's just the challenge is just taking a step back and trying to focus on the stuff that needs to be taken care of right away so that, things don't get lost in the shuffle, nor do they get shortcutted in any way, shape, or form. So, anyway, we got a good show for you today. And as always, if you're listening to the show through one of the many podcast catchers or that pick this up, whether it's iTunes, and you're like, hey, I want to find out more about that program, please go to elevatorradioshow.com, do a keyword search or search for show 528. This is week 4/3, 2019. Oh, no, it's not. It's not it is the 3rd. Yes, it is. It's April. All right. It's going a little bit too fast. I feel like it should be May. So anyway, go to the website. You can find out more and all that good stuff. So up next, we will get into the news of the week.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right. If you haven't read my blog post or the post for today's show, go over and read it because I thought it was going to be kind of a lighter show, but I realized that after locating one article, I kind of started to think about the question about recalls and how they relate to elevators and escalators. And the information that is on the Consumer Product Safety Commission over the years is pretty interesting to see. And it was a little concerning to see some of the recalls that had occurred. And I'll lead that with this story, and I'll kind of get into the question that I noted in my post, in my show notes post, about the question that I wanted to ask. And perhaps maybe one of you out there can shed your perspective on it. Just as a full disclaimer and disclosure, I do work my day job that pays the bills, has a product line that is related to how doors are locked and kept shut on elevators, mainly passenger and freight. The residential market for us is not something that we get really involved with for the reason that our products are they're geared more for heavy duty usage, and the price point in terms of my understanding or how I see it is the price point for the products that the company I work for or with during my day job is not quite comparable to what's on the market for the residential market. That's my own opinion. I'm not an expert at anything, and that's just my full disclosure. I'm not going after anything. I'm just asking a simple question through this whole mix mash of statements and notes that I'm sharing with you on the program. I'm really not getting the point that I want to get through, but I'll get into that shortly. So, but just full disclosure, I do work for an entity that makes makes a line of a variety of lines, a bunch of products, one of which involves how elevator doors are kept shut. So, and there's other companies that do that as well. Anyway, so first news story involved that came up in the news catcher aggregator was Cambridge elevating recalls elevators. This coming from Channel 7 NBC News, KPLC. I'm not exactly sure where this news station is. I'm thinking it's somewhere on the West Coast, given the K in the note or in the station ID. Anything, if you didn't know, anything west of the Mississippi River starts with a K, and then anything east starts with a W. So that in terms of the call lines. But Cambridge Elevators is recalling about 680 home elevators due to fall hazard, according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Landing door and the elevators can unlock without the elevator present, posing a fall hazard. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the firm has received one report of elevator landing door opening without the elevator present. So the elevators themselves are not being recalled, but there is a repair that can correct that by a certified technician. It's free. But it got me thinking. I'm like, well, let's go to the Consumer Product Safety Commission website and just see what else is out there. And that's where kind of my eyes open a little bit, and I realized that perhaps there are other issues that, as they relate to, elevators or residential lifts for that matter, in the industry. And maybe many of you out there knew about some of these that are in here, but I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware. So you can scroll down and check all these out, and but it just seems like, again, I'm not an expert at anything. These are just my comments. These are my observations, if nothing else. But the third link that I have here, it has me questioning as I dug deeper into some of the recalls. This Consumer Product Safety Commission has a link talking about Puerto recalled residential elevators due to serious fall hazard, which may or may not be related to the Cambridge one. But when I saw the image here, the photograph, I was like, wait a minute. And what concerned me, that may concern you or may have you questioning why is it like this, is the fact there's a plastic latch on the door. I don't know exactly what it's made out of, so I guess maybe I should take a step back and re-qualify or restate what looks to be a plastic latch. And maybe it's not a plastic latch anymore. Maybe it's been upgraded to a metal one. I'm not really sure. I think it might have been at some point. So, but it's interesting. I've never seen this before, never seen the product, but I would think that, plastic locks can allow landing door to open before the elevator car arrives, posing serious fall hazard. I guess my question is, how cheap do you got to make something when it relates to safety to protect everybody? So, yeah, these are all plastic. So anyway, I really truly hope that the product design has changed, but I just can't, just kind of unfathomable to imagine. And again, this is just me talking about the devices that I manufacture, I make, that keep doors, swing doors locked shut. And I'm not saying that our door lock is a better product or it's going to work better or it's going to protect better or whatever. I'm not relating to that, but just based on my experience and how products are built and what we do, it's just different. It's just interesting. So, which just had me thinking, I'm like, man, if you got a plastic lock, you wonder what else is similar when you're talking about equipment and how it's supposed to protect safety for people. And I don't know, it's a little concerning because there's lots of residential elevators out there that are installed. So hopefully this is not something that is continuing, and there's a better solution for it with other products on the market, or better, or something more. What's the word? Just products that can last longer. So yeah, talk about if you've got residential elevators that include this door lock or this it's not a door lock, I shouldn't say, it's a mechanical electrical switch. Please take a look at it. Make sure that your customers are educated. And I just found this stuff on my own. I had to go digging for it. It's not necessarily out there in the public light. So encourage your residential elevators to register their devices or with their state, with the company that built the equipment, so that if there are any kinds of recalls or notifications, they can be the first to be known. So, yeah, question is plastic locks on residential lifts? I know it's a residential lift, but it just doesn't seem like that should be something that should be on any elevator that has a potential of, the elevator running with the door open, or the elevator running, or the door opening when the elevator's not there. So, yeah, interesting. I learn something new every day, and I'm not an expert at anything. It's just more of those things that make you go, Speaking of which, there is an elevator safety meeting planned through the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission on April 8th. And Commissioner Adler and staff meeting with residential elevator safety representatives and victims of families. This meeting looks as if it was set up or requested at the families of the attorney Andrew Cash, Krugler and Fredericks. It's an interesting last name for an attorney. But there are other industry experts or representatives from the residential elevator industry. So it'd be interesting to see what happens after this. A lot of the information or a lot of the meeting data is not necessarily shared on the Consumer Product Safety Commission website. And if you want to go looking around for stuff, it's interesting to see the work that the Consumer Product Safety Commission has done with some of the other entities and elevator and escalator field. It's interesting. And there's not a lot of detailed information, but there is information as it relates to meetings that they've had and topics they've discussed. Participants that are non-commissioned with the Consumer Product Safety Commission typically are blacked out or not shown on those front page meeting notes. So I'm not really quite sure why they would even share what they share, but it's still interesting to do some digging on your own. So yeah, go to the Consumer Product Safety Commission website and check out, just do elevator search or escalator, and you'll get a chance to see what has been done or what has been attempted to be done. I didn't realize that in terms of escalators, the work that had already been done in the last 10, 12, 18 years. So it's interesting. And it's nice to see that there are entities trying to make things better. Okay, and the reason why the Consumer Product Safety Commission got involved with the residential elevators is because the residential elevator is considered a consumer product, a consumer purchase product that the consumer needs to be protected from if there is some type of design flaw or defect that would impact that consumer that purchased that product. Wow, I hit that nail on the head. When it comes to escalators, that is not necessarily the case. Even though escalators move consumers, it's not the same. The consumer, when they're using an escalator, is not the original equipment purchaser, and so hence it's not exactly the same kind of. It's still important, but it's still not the same type of level when it comes to the authority that the Consumer Product Safety Commission actually has. So so then I started thinking, well, let's go look in Google and see what else is going on. And it is terrifying. I'm going to skip over a couple of articles here. We talk about working safe. Just do a Google search for construction accident. I know it doesn't necessarily involve elevator constructors all the time, thank goodness. But holy cow! I mean, you want to see all the accidents that just happened in the last week. It's man, and a lot of them are they're fall accidents. I don't know. It's a dangerous field, dangerous industry, and I think the trades have got to work together to try to have a common goal of educating and looking out for each other and making sure they all go home each and every day. I think it's a larger problem, a larger issue that needs to be tackled than more than just by one union. I think together it's a bigger thing that needs to be looked at from all aspects. So yeah, it's terrifying. So anyway, So that's my rant on all that stuff. So again, I'm not an expert on residential elevators. I'm not an expert on door interlocks. I'm not an expert on anything. But just wanted to ask that question: should we be using plastic door latches on doors that keep are supposed to be shut? I don't know. I don't think that's. And maybe they've been tested some criteria. I don't know. Maybe they have. Maybe they're perfect. Maybe they're great. Maybe they comply with the code of the residential lift. I don't know, but it just looks like there's a potential there for. And again, maybe there's a recall. Maybe there's already a fix and a solution to it. I hope there is. But just questions you might want to ask and things you might want to just check into if you do have any one of these lifts that has one of these devices on it. Just be aware of that. That's all I'm going to say. And a lot of those devices or those elevators that are not necessarily ones that a traditional elevator company would maintain due to the cost of labor, and then also it's just not. Yeah, that's basically it. So this is going to fall pretty much under the accessibilities companies, and they may be the ones that are dealing with this much more than those that are traditional elevator constructing companies and maintenance companies. Okay, moving on to some of our topics here. A 3-month elevator battle at Plaza prompts action by tenants, and this is in the Bronx. There's some housing authorities out there in larger metropolitan cities that just get creamed with issues, and I don't know if it's a funding issue or what the deal is or management, but it's sad to see when things like this happen and our elderly residents feel like they're trapped inside of their buildings, and that should not be something that happens. It's definitely a safety issue. But there's deeper issues at hand when it comes to why elevators break down there and why they are, why they're not fixed quicker. So lots of stuff. Next news article, PBS NewsHour, WTTW has a blog post, why everyone should stand still on an escalator. Again, this kind of relates back to the one piece or news story or report we shared that talked about it's actually faster to stand still on an escalator than walk, and I don't think that's necessarily correct. However, if you're alone and you're walking, you're going to actually be faster. The bottom line is it's just safer to just enjoy the ride, man. Just enjoy it. Just hold the handrail. Don't look at your phone. Do some people watching, but just enjoy the ride. How much time are you really going to save? And I never knew there was an unwritten rule that on escalators you're supposed to stand right and walk left. You know what? Talking about a PBS announcement or thing we should do is all the people that drive slow in the fast lane, they need a lesson in getting out of the fast lane. Oh. Anyway, okay, next news article. Yeah, the next one talks about the same kind of issue. One elevator has some feeling like prisoners. This is in Chicago, a Chicago Housing Authority. Again, has issues where 3 elevators, 2 of one is left, and they should be grateful they have the one. But again, it's one of those deals where there's lots of issues at play here. One that relates to the maintenance of elevators, the modernization of elevators, and the sad thing is that the investigative reporter actually found that there were, violations on the elevators, which I think may or may not have shut those units down. So, that goes back to the maintenance company who may or may not be performing the work that they should be performing. And that's where it can help to have a consultant get involved and get a third-party opinion of what's being done so that you have a better handle on, really on the money that's being spent to help make your elevators run as best they can. So, and if you're looking for a consultant, visit www.iaec.org. They've got their conference coming up shortly. If you're not attending, consider doing so. Next news article, woman stuck in an elevator for 21 hours in China. And I was kind of interested to hear, although it is one of those AP or Getty images that has nothing to do with the actual job site. So apparently she was stuck for about 21 hours before she was rescued. And she had texted, I think, her boyfriend, but her husband. She may not have come out alive. I don't know. It's one of those deals where you're like, wow, I'm glad she did come out alive, because depending on where she was in China, may not have done so. Okay, University of Michigan is planning on upgrading their historic Detroit Observatory. I said it, and I did it okay. But anyway, the building has had previous additions in 1868, 1908. It was restored in 1999. University says it's the oldest remaining observatory in the U.S. to have its original telescopes from the 1850s. Holy mow, that's cool. Wish they had a photograph of that. I'd love to see it. Love to see the elevators there too. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, tomorrow night is the next Chicago Elevator Association meeting. Unitech is coming in to present. In addition, May 10th is the Chicago Elevator Association Scholarship Fundraiser. There's applications on the website that will be held at the, where is it going to be held at? I just had it here. Here we go. It's Hawthorne Racetrack, May 10th, 2019. You can register and sponsor through that website. In addition, the EESF Chicago Cruise is going to be June 26th. More information on that will be following on the website. And unfortunately, I am in full swing when it comes to lacrosse with my kids and volleyball. So like the next 2 months, it's like every night it's something. I got to leave tonight for like an hour drive to see Owen play volleyball. So yeah, it's just busy, and then he graduates. It's like crazy. Good times goes by so fast. Okay, Elevator U registration is open. If you their website has changed. If you have any complications with that, there's 3 different ways you can become a member. Become a conference attendee for $300. Typically a university or college. You can be a conference attendee, vendor exhibitor, which is $1,000 for a booth. And the yearly EU membership is just $100. So if you can't attend either of those and you want to become a member, you can basically do it that way. And there's other ways. So once you get your either you register or you become a vendor, go back to the events, and then you can sign up for a vendor commercial or sponsor the event through their website there. So it's a little different than what it's been in the past. If you have any questions, just send them an email. And let's see here, what else is, that's it on that. And then the hotel information is also in one of the blog posts. So, and as always, if you need any kind of educational credits, QEI, certifications, all that good stuff, NACE International is a place to go. It's kind of cool to see that Code Update class and seminars are filling up. This one in Bridgeton, Missouri, April 11th. Code Update Summer, next one is going to be in Austin, Texas, and then Fort Worth, Texas. And then they've got their spring workshops coming up. The Western Spring Workshop is April 5th in Las Vegas, and then the Wisconsin Elevator Symposium is the 26th, Lake Geneva. April 3rd is Des Plaines, Illinois. So there's no better place to get and they got some webinars too. So there's no place to get your educational credits than through NACE International. So do it, get it, become a member. Even if you don't need your QEI, it's definitely worthy of a resource. And that's going to do it for today's show, everybody. Sorry to run through that as quickly as I did. I need more coffee. But remember, continue to work safe out there. It's been my pleasure bringing a show today. Have a great rest of the week. Think spring, warmer temperatures are coming this weekend, I think. And just hang in there. It'll be here soon, okay? All right, take care. Bye-bye.